Hello, guys. Welcome back to Exterior Knowledge Podcast. Today, I'll be doing a solo podcast to see what you guys wanted. If you guys want to hear more thoughts of this and that. So, I was wondering, and I wanted to talk about today about what's happening with China, the US, Russia, and the Ukraine, and everything around it. So, especially what would happen with the today's so called event of the balloon being shot down and everything that's been going on. I believe a lot of this stuff is government orientated. I don't believe that balloons or UFOs could be shot down so easily. You see, knowing I've done contact myself, is that those are actually light beams, and I don't believe that they would cause any kind of danger or threat to any kind of society, knowing what society is and knowing what society has done for itself. And, we are the danger. We are the suppressors suppressing everyone around us all at the same time because of either someone's ego or somebody believes in this and somebody believes in that. And it's all being correlated to the same thing. And you see, in a way, I do believe sometimes skepticism can lead into ignorance, which allows other people to not realize what's underneath or above them. So, and what that means is that the same way with everything that's going on here could be causing something else to go on somewhere else. Whether if you believe in the astral planes or whether you believe in other dimensions or different layers of reality, which I just call the metaphysical spectrum of reality, that the 1% that we can only see, which makes sense if we are always walking through, let's say, spirits, shadows, or anything that you want to, if as you portray as. If anybody here has ever had an apparition, a CE5 experience with orbs or any kind of thing like that, I would love for you to join the podcast. And if you want to join, let me know. It's all being correlated towards the same thing that's been going on and that has been happening. And all we can do is just hope the best, because you see, none of this is new. Nothing's new under the sun. All these things with what's happening right now with the UFO thing, with the Chinese thing, and everything that's been going on leading to what I call World War III, it's something that surprises me. Or not really surprised, or more just like this was already events that were leading up since, for me, 2012 was the golden age of research. So I just went on and moved forward with all that information. And I've always had this deep feeling of 2020, something was going to happen. But we, as people, hopefully will understand once we reach further into more of the future. They're already predicting that in 2025, China is going to be having war with the United States, and I forgot who the person was who mentioned about it, but it was a American who said it, so 100% we're not 100% sure. But there's also theories correlating with Black Ops 2 that, that places actually took with the US and China having war. So, we're really living in crazy times where things are being foreshadowed, especially with the Ohio Road and the movie White Noise on Netflix. There's a lot of things going on right now. So there's so many things to talk about. But my main focus will possibly be more on what's happening more with the UFO phenomenon and everything around it and what everything is going on towards too. But for me, none of this, what I call a phenomenon, is truly 100% a phenomenon. I believe it's just natural. to the point where everything, just like in space, everything that is created in space with matter taking a form is all being based on the same reality that we live in. Maybe not in the same form, but in a different form, as they are light beings. But does that make them that difference between them and I? I don't think so. The only thing is that I truly believe between us and them is that they evolved into a higher spirit, into a higher dimension, into another plane of existence that we can reach to until we finalize and realize what we are capable of. What people call superpowers or what people call these other things, I believe that they just are natural abilities. Once you can sense your height, or your heightens will be sensed by meditation. Some people take psychedelics, some people take other things. And I know I'm not advocating any type of drug use. I'm only saying in a way that everybody can elevate themselves into a higher plane of existence, another creation, another form of reality that they have never met or touched with. And people who had near death experiences, I've had a near death experience when I was basically born into this reality. And when I was born into this reality, everything just, I was almost about to die. I only had 1% chance of living the moment I was born, and I was bred and born in Cuba. And, but at the same time, it's more of a thing that me knowing I was going to die the moment that I was born is what led me to all this knowledge, what led me to everything that I'm doing now, led me to all the processes of information I can before I leave to the other side. Because I truly believe that everything that we obtain here, whether it's your voice, whether it's something that you have learned and are desperate for or needed to know more than what we are in this reality, I think we can all move on with the same intentions of what we had here before, because I do strongly believe in past lives. And not only that, once you die here, this will be considered one of your past lives. It's only like whatever passes is going to be your past, if you understand what I'm trying to get at. And the thing is that if we keep going with the same motives, with the same intentions of destroying the planet, of taking everything that is not ours, that meant to be belonged in nature, or probably the planet is going to keep suffering, as anything that's conscious and alive is always going to suffer the consequences of us doing things to this planet. So this is why the planet will retaliate on anything that is trying to mess with it. This is why we have earthquakes, tornadoes, tsunamis, everything that is being built upon nature, because nature at the end of the day has no feelings on who dies, whatever happens, or this or that. It just happens like that, because just because we're humans standing on this realm doesn't mean that it's ours for the taking and everything around it should be ours. But people think like that because of the ego that progresses on as mankind doesn't evolve, and it just keeps going into the same intentions that it had since they were cavemen. And the evolution of, the genome taking from the Anunnaki. That's what I believe what evolution was, but each and every of our own has our own opinion on what is and what isn't. But besides that, we are now living in a time where technology can be utilized, can be extremely more advanced with what we can do as a civilization. The oneness that creates within everything that is positive, that is loving towards everything around us instead of hating everything all the time. We can all be more in tune with ourselves if we just divertly progress into the knowledge that we are taking and moving forward. So, speaking on this, times is getting wasted by the lack of things that we do that we know that we are very capable of doing. It's just laziness gets involved and takes in everything. So, what I'm trying to say is that if we build a community of people who want to understand and do this type of thing for free, nobody has to pay anything to do anything because CE5 has always been there. It's been happening since ancient times. You can look at all the pyramids, you can look at all the writings, you can look at everything that is simple, and to just go back in time to realize what is going on in the future. Because that's kind of disrespectful to believe that people can not only forget what we've been taught a long time ago. And I understand we have no memory towards that. So that's why it becomes a mystery of everything that is being projected as. So that's why. But luckily, our ancestors left us something to allow us to know who we are within our roots, within the nature that we stem from. The beings that have been coming here for a very, very long time, and they're still here till this very day, still watching humanity grow as it keeps growing every single day. Just like a seed, everything is infinite. So it can just keep growing no matter if you have a plant, seed, a planet, it's all going to just keep revolving back. Because that's the cycle of life, the same way with everything that's being cycled. So, as a human lives on in this today's society, I'm seeing a number of people giving up and some people that are being motivated. Division, separation, inclining towards everything that's been going on since the pandemic. And all I can say is that I hope for each and every single one, soul, being, everything. Because if we don't advance, grow ourselves to be not perfect, because nothing's perfect, but more to grow to be the best version of who you can be, love will carry that forever. And speaking about UFOs and understanding what light beings are, to me, they are just in another form, into another digress form that we are capable of. When we astral project, we are already in an orb type of form because you are out of your physical body for that moment. And I've always had this vision of mine where I would see myself as a blue light being before incarnating into this planet, and that was the last memory I had the moment I was born. And that's the last thing I saw. So anything is possible. I believe in infinite possibilities. I believe in anything that is we're capable of doing. And let's just go back to, as well as all the situations, like the thing I was talking about, the evolution of mankind, of where we progress into war, into having nuclear bombs, into having sophisticated weapons to destroy anything. And now we are using laser weapons as well, high beam energies, things that are able to literally destroy small drones. So I feel like things are just going to keep getting worse if we keep progressing in that 3D, what I call the 3D mentality of being stuck in this low realm, fighting each other all the time, speaking about when this is going to happen or when this is going to happen. So I feel like actions speak louder than words, so we definitely got to make something happen, to do something about it. Because at the end of times, at least what I call the end times, is essentially going to keep Just keep progressing forward until something either nuclear happens, something chemically happens, or something that is going to be far worse than we can ever imagine. So I hope for all of you listening to this, watching this as I speak to you, to the audience, to the people who want to understand and learn, that whether there's going to be conflict towards the Ukraine, whether there's going to be conflict towards China, Taiwan, the US, Russia, all the militaries in the world are going to get involved. And this is all just part of the New World Order. This is all an alliance towards them of what they want to do. So it only makes sense the more times we progress, their plan is just going to keep moving forward to whatever they believe, as long as nobody does anything about it. We just keep sitting back and watching the show happen. More things keep progressing, like ID digital stuff. They're gonna watch you through your cameras. They're going, they're already doing that. Everything that they're doing, they're already doing. They're just now talking about the biometric system, where it can constantly watch you, like in China. Anywhere you go, they know your face. On some Black Mirror stuff, they will definitely keep progressing more and more onto that type of technology, and keep force feeding it to people until they finally either accept it, or people will run away, and some people will die, some people will, everything. There's a lot of things between the lines when you want to escape technology and all the BS that they've been planning for a long, very, very long time. And all we can really do is hope the best for a lot of people, and hopefully wake up whenever it's time for them, because I don't believe nobody should be forced to be woken up. Like, I've seen a lot of people in the spiritual community that as well, that makes these certain TikToks or certain things that they believe that spirituality only takes 3 steps to do. No disrespect to anybody from whatever they're doing, but at the same time, please don't promote things that are not valid, that are does not take 3 steps to go into spirituality. That's a progressive timing thing that it just comes naturally, comes normally over time, if you are willing to seek the truth within yourself. Don't listen to the people who are telling you that they can channel, or that they can do these certain kinds of things, and tell you that your family member or this or that is good. Or if it's a medium or a person that you guys know that take, especially if they take money, because I don't trust any of them. Me personally, I am a person who am able to read vibrations, energy, and all these other things because of the time I spent meditating, the time I spent doing things that allowed me to do these things in the first place. It does take time, and there's a lot of people who fake these abilities because they want money. That's how they progress in their life, by faking things and telling lies and extorting and exploiting the dead, which I don't agree on at all whatsoever. I believe that all knowledge should be free. If you ever go to a medium, make sure that person never asks you for money. I know a person in Cuba that my mom goes to and speaks with her, and uses this technique called hydrokinesis, and is able to tell her what they have happen without no money. And she's 98 somewhere years old, and she has no money, none of that. If you want to go to a legit person, always make sure who you're talking with before they start making things up to project in your mind that probably didn't even happen, or none of that. If they can't tell you certain things about you that doesn't have no type of correlation, and only keeps asking questions with no types of answers, and only questions just to feed on to what you're saying, so he makes up other things of what you're saying, please make sure and advise that other person that he is probably scamming you, or he's trying to genuinely help, but then asking for money. I don't advocate none of that. And these are to all the spiritual mediums in the world, that if you are a spiritual advisor, make sure that if you ever do something with somebody, make sure it's genuine. That's all I'm saying. But back to everything that is happening, you know, I feel like people who, especially when, oh yes, when I was talking about, like, me personally seeing vibrations, feeling people's energies, all I meant was my senses got heightened. You can look at people from the monks. You can look at people from Tibetan, Tibetan, and over there, there's a lot of people that can resist the cold because they know how to keep their temperature warm, just using a form of meditation, and also well using type of chi or rekai within it. And this is where these ancient traditions come from. There's a many that came from Africa. If then that includes Yoruba, Santeria, and many other forms of African culture, and as well as Middle Middle East culture, which also takes place in a lot of sacred things that have been here for a very long time that anyone is capable of. It's just we're wasting our time, what we build upon the structure of the modern world that we could have made a lot better for people who can just live freely without having to pay anything, without having to extort anyone, without having to kill this, and that, all to do one thing, and that's to get money. The monetary system is a form of living for people who want to buy things. That is all it is about, is to consume and nothing more. But that's why I keep my head to the sky and go outside, do nature's God work, and everything that is around me. I just want to try my best to do as much as I can for other people. And I hope this will bring on a positive vibration towards you. Because just know at the end of the day, you're never alone. Whatever you guys are suffering with, whatever you guys need help with, I'll be willing to help you guys with all love and respect, because that's just the type of person I am. I come from a fortunate family that I'm glad to be with, and I appreciate everyone in this journey that put me through this. And you see, my story with doing CE5 and all these other things with the light beings, and you see that started in 2018 of August, and the thought occurred to me that summoning UFOs, like, why not? And then when I researched it, it turned out to be true. And then that day forward, I just kept meditating, practicing, literally having a lot of patience day and night, going outside, keep going until I finally saw them. And then that's when we established a connection. I haven't seen them in a while. And I know that they're always going to be there. It's just now the question, what is the other step towards this? When communicating, when contacting, when establishing a connection. And to all the people that know this, please understand that there are a lot of people who are still not aware that this can happen or occur in people's realities, or in people's, or further yet more, because I have witnesses in my life who have seen them with me, and that includes my parents. But and friends of mine who didn't believe me at first until they saw it with their own eyes. And I have footage and documents of me whenever I couldn't record them. But now I don't record them anymore because of the fact that I just rather be in the experience itself than actually having to record them. Because in a way, I just think that's kind of disrespectful. Like I said before, I don't believe the difference between them and I. We are the same. We are the same as them and I. So it can't be that different from us just because they're in another form of consciousness. And now, many people can disagree for what I say or this or that. Just know I'm not afraid to take on a challenge if it is needed to be. because for me, I realize that arguing is not going to make a difference. The only difference that you can make if you really want to see if this is true for yourself is that if you really want to see it for yourself, I suggest that these are the steps that I can give you of what you can do. First, like I said, all these TikTok videos that talk about steps and all these other things, it's not even steps. It's more of, if you want to call it a step, let's just say a step would be knowing one thing first before the other, and then everything starts accumulating over time. And then after that accumulation, you can either go through a period of darkness or light, depending on what you choose first within your own reality. And going through the darkness, I feel like, because I went through depression in a time where I kept doing a lot of LSD, and I just kept realizing so many things, and I'd done it when I was 17, and it's something that you just need to cope with once it happens, because you don't know when you can have a spiritual awakening. The more knowledge you obtain, the more things you research, the more things that you put yourself and manifest these worlds around you. Because I feel like some people are just bred into this life already knowing this stuff, and for some people it's going to take time for them to realize what it means to them, what it means for them to live in this world, and how they can cope with whatever they're going through, whether it's spirituality, meditation, contact with other beings. It's all there. And I'm not only in contact with other beings, I'm also in contact with spirits, whether it's my loved ones, whether it's other beings of love, or even other dark entities. I'm just like, everything in this life has a magnetic pull. We all share the same equation that everything relies on. But this is all we can really do. I just hope whatever happens, it takes time for people to realize there's no steps to this. It just happens whenever you start working on yourself, whenever you start doing things for yourself, whenever you start wanting to do more research, whenever you want to learn more about the metaphysicality of things. And because I grew up knowing about the third eye, I grew up knowing about the Anunnaki, I grew up knowing about Planet X, and a lot of those things just accumulated over time, and I started connecting more of the dots to know more about what I can realize within myself as I started growing older. And by the time I hit 17, that's when I had a spiritual awakening. And it was very scary and overwhelming at first, I can't lie. It felt like everything was scripted, nobody was real, everything felt fake, everything felt like I wasn't even part of none of it. Everything was just there, and I was just it. And at that time it was very scary, because I've never felt so many energies before in my life. After I started doing, more meditation, I've been involved with psychedelics and other things that helped me more into my progression. Because the thing was is that I've taken psychedelics, but in a serious manner, that I really wanted to learn more, to understand where we come from and what we do here and what is our purpose. And it taught me, the first thing what shrooms taught me was that nature is everything, and without it, we got to respect nature. Nature is everything. I don't even kill bugs as much. I actually save literally ants' lives whenever I see one. I don't, I believe everything in this life is sacred, including us. But does that make us special? I don't believe nothing in reality, especially humans, are special. It's more of that. It's not what makes us special. It's the fact that what's here is what makes it special. The fact that we're even here now, talking, communicating, speaking with one another, understanding, seeing what we can do, and everything that is in in our imperfection of everything that we are designed to be. I believe that the design is perfect, but not ourselves that is perfect. But we are perfect in geometry, geometric. We are just as nature attended us for us to be in this planet. But I call it foreign because we just call it Earth and we just landed on here. So we're just now doing whatever we've been systematically been doing for a very long time. So I hope one day people will snap out of it and realize what they can do. Because imagine living 70 years of your life not knowing what we are, why we're here, and arguing about the same thing that people has been arguing about for a very, very long time when the modernized, westernized culture came and did everything that it did to Indians, native people, and everything. But, at the end of the day, we just got to see what we can do as people as we grow up and hopefully take in everything that's been going on and realize that at the end of the day, as messed up as this could probably sound to you, it doesn't matter in a way that it matters to us right now, but I'm saying that it doesn't matter in the cosmically it doesn't matter because everything that's going on here could possibly going on in another timeline, another dimension, in another place, on another planet. Everything that this could be going on, like for instance, at least we're not, I could give out some perspectives. At least we're not like in a planet that literally rains glass, or we live in atmospheric rain all the time, or where Jupiter has its crazy hurricanes and tornadoes and all of that stuff. Just appreciate what is right now for everything that's in the moment because that's all we have is the now. So this is the end of the podcast. I love you all. I really hope that if you have listened, this will motivate you in some sort of way. And if you want me to keep going for more of this, let me know. Tell me in the comments. Subscribe if you want to. I'm just pointing that out there. But all love for all of you guys. And I hope the best.